Hey guys, welcome to Thanks I Ate It, the only podcast with Mark DeJoy, folks. Mark, you had a hassle tuning in today, yeah? How you doing?
I'm doing great now. Yeah, we had the fire alarm going off in my building, and then no audio happening when I tried to join. Technical difficulties abound, but
yeah. So you switched to your phone. I feel like the phone view is better. Like I think your phone cam, you're looking more sharp. Literally.
We get long Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get more of my stripes here, I guess.
It's like a long pig, but it's Mark.
Long pig, long Mark. A thing like that.
A thing like that. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm great. How are you, Meg?
I'm all right. I feel like the last couple episodes, people were like, "How you doing, Meg?" And I'm like, my mother-in-law died. But like, we finished cleaning out our house. We're done. I had my weekend to myself. I wrote like 4 articles this week. Cleaned the house. It was great. I'm doing good. I'm coffeeed up.
Back on the
ready.
Grind.
I'm back on the grind. I don't have to interview Mark. I didn't have to write questions because we know Mark. Our 4 listeners will know that Mark and I had a podcast last year with 25 episodes, so we know each other. We don't need to interview you at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I thought for this episode we would talk about, since Mark is also a food writer, we could talk about restaurant news from a journalistic standpoint, and also maybe a little bit about what you and I have been writing lately, what we've been covering here in Seattle. And so, should we just jump into the news? You want to do that? So the news story that I thought was a big deal this week was that Wayward Vegan, which has served vegan food in Seattle for, 30 years? It's an institution. It's a historic vegan restaurant. Yeah. Suddenly announced that they will be adding chicken, cheese, and eggs to the menu. And people lost their minds. People were furious, especially on the internet, especially on Instagram and Reddit. And I am on the beat for this. I'm scrambling furiously to finish my story for The Stranger. But I went and interviewed the folks. And I'm having a lot of, torn emotions about that. Mark, you were saying earlier, it kind of, makes you sympathize with the vegans initially.
Honestly, I do. The more I kind of witness people reacting and kind of on both levels of it, I don't know. I was sort of surprised. I saw the CityCast podcast did a story about it.
I saw that too, yeah.
And I like them, and this is no shade on them, but I was kind of surprised at how they framed it. They said something like, "Isn't this the most Seattle thing ever? It's an episode of Portlandia." And
I saw that.
Well, actually, I feel like the most Seattle thing ever is a clueless owner purchasing an institution, unaware of what that institution means, and then gentrifying it. So in that way, it is. But I don't know. I just think that, it's a fringe community. I think vegans have a right to want places that are for them, that have been for them historically. Right. I think that's okay.
Jeff, do you have a take on this? Do you know the story?
Well, I was going to say, I'm reminded of something that Kaylee said a couple episodes ago, talking about how it's so special to give somebody a non-alcoholic cocktail. And to know that that's something that was made for them before they even walked in the door. There are things here for you, and we thought about you as somebody who exists within this building on occasion. So I feel the same way about vegan places or any places that specialize in any dietary restrictions or anything like that, because it is like you just said, they deserve to have a place that is theirs just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
And I think it's really thoughtful to put those places there. And I think that communities will often rally around those places if they know that it's we're all vegans and this is the best vegan place. So, I'm sure there are plenty of vegan places in the city, but probably not as many as you would think.
There are dwindling vegan places in the city. There used to be a lot more. We're losing them at a fast clip here. The thing about Wayward Vegan that I found noteworthy is that it's a diner. It doesn't have a concept, right? It was a bunch of punks who they also owned vegan pizza pie, and it's approachable food. It's, it's kind of, my buddy Tasha and I went there years ago, and it's where I learned that vegan food doesn't have to be healthy necessarily. It's junk food. It's, messy gravy fries and burgers and, eggy, greasy scrambles and Monte Cristos and stuff like that. So that not only fulfills an important part in the Seattle's restaurant-scape, because it serves vegan food, but it specifically is like family-friendly vegan food. It's Americana, right? It's not Thai food. It's not Indian food. It's just normal here in America. It's what we would call food, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Steven has a friend who's Thai, and Steven's like, "Do you want to go out for Thai food?" And the friend famously quipped, "We just call it food." So,
Exactly.
we just call that kind of food food.
Depending on your perspective, it's food.
Yeah. Right. And so, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I'm curious. I mean, without giving away too much of the story you're writing, like what was the owner side of it? I mean, obviously, I know that it's an attempt to reach a broader audience, but what was their perspective on like why that seemed feasible?
Right. Right, because respectfully, it sounds fucking insane to add chicken, cheese, and eggs to a vegan restaurant menu. Like, what did you think would happen? I will say the owner bought the place in 2022 after it being owned by the original vegan punks and like a fellow vegan investor, I think, a friend. The guy bought it in 2022, and he is not vegan. He owns a few different restaurants in Seattle. I went in. The team is not vegan. No one that I spoke to. He brought the whole team in, interestingly, to talk about it, because he's like, you guys work in the restaurant. You'll know more about this. So I talked to 4 staff members, and they were not vegans. And they had a lot to say about the price of vegan food, specifically like chow cheese, and they didn't say Boca burgers, but vegan burgers and seitan and tempeh bacon, and how the price of that stuff has gone way, way, way up. And you can't, like when you're buying meat, you can buy meat from infinite numbers of suppliers, right? You can go down in quality, etc. But all vegan products prices have gone up, and so they don't really have a choice. They have to keep ordering that stuff, right? Regardless of whatever the maker charges for it, they have to pay it. So they're trying to offset that cost elsewhere. They also raised their prices, and people didn't like that, like $1 or $1.50, and people were very unhappy about that. So they tried that. This has been on the table since September, I think it was, when the owner and I think the head chef were talking about it. And so what fascinated me after all of that fallout online, I went in, they're still vegan. They haven't done it. They're just thinking about it. And I kept asking for a rollout date, and they wouldn't give me one. So the news story on the internet is that they've done it already, because they were just like, new announcement, like, cool news, we're going to add chicken and cheese.
Yeah. Well,
they have not done that. Too, right? Yeah, and they changed their name too, but they haven't done it. It was a threat. They were just testing the waters. So there's a lot of facets to this story. I think my takeaway after talking to these folks is that every restaurant in Seattle is struggling, and in greater Seattle, whether or not you're a specialty restaurant, if you're just a regular ass diner that does sell animal products, you're struggling. Everyone's struggling.
Yeah.
And if your audience is teeny tiny, as a vegan restaurant's is, I mean, I should retract that, because anyone can eat vegan food. I'm not vegan and I can eat vegan food.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, non-vegans don't really go to Wayward. So it's a specialty market, I will say. So they're struggling. They're going to struggle even more. And then you add the rising costs of extremely specialized products.
Yeah.
That's their
I mean, I think the fact that no one there is vegan looms pretty large.
Yes.
Because
agreed.
I think that probably there'd be some impetus to develop their own vegan ingredients rather than purchasing from manufacturers, right?
Right, and then you have added labor.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always get, sometimes that ends up not being much of a cost savings, but probably worth exploring if you have a personal investment in doing so, right?
Perhaps they have. I don't know what else they've tried before this,
I guess I just come away so curious to the point of confusion of like, why did you buy the vegan place in the first place?
Because it was profitable.
Yeah, but
used to make the money, and they had a really dedicated crowd, and now nobody's going out to restaurants. So he's like, fuck it. Right? But that's true of every restaurant. I keep going back and forth and back and forth. Like,
it just feels like every restaurant has like a mission statement, and some of them are more.
I wouldn't agree with that. I think there's a lot of restaurants. I mean, unless the mission statement is to serve Thai food or whatever,
Yeah, well, maybe that's not the right word, but I guess there is some sort of motivation, hopefully, behind running every restaurant. I know it's really easy now for us to all just say like, oh, well, it's, for money. But like at the same time, I feel like owning one restaurant doesn't really make you a lot of money, especially now. It just seems like a risky idea to try to do. But
sure.
But more ideally, I think you're going to be more incentivized to care about a vegan product for vegan people if you, or at least some of your staff, care at all about the idea of being vegan. And I'm not saying that none of them care just because they don't choose to be vegan, but like just generally it's probably the case that, like you said, like nobody in the kitchen is being like, oh, I like went and had this really cool vegan thing last week and I want to try to make it here, or like I read about this new way to like make this thing.
Right.
And without that curiosity, I just think in general, like, yeah, what is the point of having a place be anything if your whole goal is just to like serve as much food as possible? Because then at that point, it's like, yeah, just be a fried chicken place. Like that's what everybody seems to want right now. It's like, are you just going to change your menu depending on what everybody wants, or are you going to actually like stand for the food that you think? Like we talked to Chris last week, and
from New,
and I feel like I keep referencing these podcasts that y'all have to go listen to them, I guess. Yeah,
that's how you and I hang out, right?
Right, yeah. But, he's somebody who, even though he is very open to being malleable and creative, like he talked about, he has a real passion for the kind of food that he serves. He's not just going to, like, throw some random thing on the menu because he thinks it'll get more people in the door. Like,
right.
he's gonna put stuff on the menu because he's excited about it. And obviously, like, cost effectiveness is an aspect of how he decides to do that, but it's not the only way.
And he also doesn't own more than one restaurant, importantly. The guy who owns Wayward does.
Right.
So he's an investor. He's a capitalist. Yeah.
What's the incentive to keep it anything? Like what is sacred about it if the people that run it don't think that it's sacred?
Nothing is sacred about it, and we're going to see more of that.
Yeah.
Restaurants aren't going to be sacred anymore. They're going to be, we're all living under the umbrella of capitalism, and that includes restaurants.
I think that conversation about, because veganism is one of the few cuisines that has an ethos attached to it. So I think that's where that becomes relevant, right? Yeah. It's almost like having like a halal restaurant or a kosher restaurant, or in some if you remove that part, that's an essential part of what draws people to it. It's not just a cuisine, it's also a set of values. And so you really lose a lot of what the place is when you remove the values of it as well. And, I don't know. I just think like the investor element is batshit to me. Like, if you don't want to invest in it, you got to sell. Then do the investor thing, sell it.
What came first, though, like the chicken or the egg? I mean, I guess that's kind of
pun intended.
But like,
damn,
I didn't even mean to do that.
Neither came first.
But like, if somebody who's not vegan buys the place, and none of the people that work there are vegan, regardless of what they put on the menu, like, isn't some of that like value, or like, isn't some of that ethos already kind of gone? And like, might that be why people have stopped going there as vegans, because they're like, well, this isn't really, these people are not part of our culture.
I don't think that's why, and I don't think they knew that. I think
you don't think they
I think everybody is not going to restaurants.
Right. You don't think vegan people care though that they're not supporting a restaurant?
I think they do care, but I don't think they know that.
Yeah, maybe. I guess we.
I think they care more than anyone on earth. Yes, I think vegans care the most, but I don't know that they know that about Wayward. I think nobody's going to restaurants. I hear this all day, and that day that I went there, I heard it from 2 other restaurant owners who don't run vegan restaurants. Nobody's going to restaurants. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
That's just my personal take. And I'm not a vegan, and I don't own a restaurant, but I talk to people who own restaurants all day, and that's what they say over and over.
As somebody who works at a restaurant and doesn't go to restaurants, I can confirm, that's true. Like, I used to go out to eat on kind of a regular basis, whether it was here or in California, and it didn't seem like that big of a deal to like supplement your diet with like going out to eat, but that's not the case anymore. You know,
You
like
can't.
it's a special occasion thing. You know, like it's not something that you do as part of just your day-to-day life.
You can't.
Depending on who you are. Yeah.
I will also add that the owner of Wayward said they're not, like he said, we're not circling the drain. I don't think that was the words that he used, but the writing is on the wall. So they're predicting that they won't be able to stay open if they don't make a pivot. So he's way ahead of it. He's not even started serving chicken and cheese and eggs yet. He just was bouncing it off the wall, you know?
Yeah.
He's still profiting. He's not in the toilet yet, but he doesn't want to end up in the toilet, which is a very like capitalist investor thing to do, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about somebody I don't really know, but it just does seem like it's impossible to know what they mean when they say that they're, you know, in some sort of financial peril.
Their numbers are down.
That just means your numbers are down compared to what? You know, it's like if they were up before and they're not up by as much now, or if they're even like breaking even. It's like,
what's interesting to me is that
sometimes places don't make money in like a short-term period of time, but you got to stick through it and they'll come through long-term. You know, it just feels like there's no appetite for actual risk. Like there's risk when they buy the place, but then when it comes to like standing for what you believe in when you bought the place, like there's no appetite for that risk. They're just like, oh yeah, we're just going to try something, a couple things that are obvious we could try, and then we're just going to close the place.
Right, because he's not vegan. He doesn't subscribe to that ethos. So his ethos is profit. But the alternative would be like, this is what I don't know. Was the restaurant on the market for a long time and it was going to not exist anymore unless this dude bought it? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Would we not have a Wayward Vegan at all for the last 3 years and change if this guy hadn't bought it? Is it be owned by a non-vegan and staffed by non-vegans, or they take their vegan IKEA plant ball and go home, right? Like their falafel and go home. Like what's the alternative to this guy owning it and these people staffing it? I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I can't predict that, and I haven't done the research on that. So I do think that this guy will start serving plant-based or non-plant-based items. I keep going back and forth. Like it's almost like with an NA drink. Like, do you call it a virgin drink? Do you call it booze-free? Do you call it, NA? Is it animal product-free? Is it plant-based? I don't know. So anyway, this dude, I predict that he will start serving chicken, cheese, and eggs, which he kept specifying was a separate menu. He kept saying the menu's the same, and the staff said this too. The menu hasn't changed. We just added a second menu that includes animal products as an option. But I think they'll do that and they'll lose their crowd. And I don't think that Wayward's food is standalone good enough to just be a regular diner and stay in business. That's my opinion.
It's just going to be somewhere that joins this a sort of nebulous swath of cuisine, and people will be mad about it and no one will be excited about it, and that's what that would be.
The people who liked it will feel betrayed and not go. I don't think they can scare up a standalone new audience who's cool with their 90% vegan menu and likes the diner food and the breakfast scrambles enough with animal products optional to keep going.
Yeah, as far as a new audience is concerned, or like a new clientele, it's like those must have to be some sort of chicken, cheese, and eggs. It's like there's a lot of places you can get that already. People probably already have their chicken, cheese, and eggs places. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be like, oh, I want to try out the place that's never done it before because they're all vegan.
They're new to chicken, cheese, and eggs.
They just heard a chicken. I want to go see what they think about it.
Yeah. One of the staff members said something really interesting too. They do not give a shit about the online feedback. They just kept saying like, wow, we learned a lot. Haha, we think it'll die down. I think they're just not really very internet-y people. But one of the staff members said, we have faced a lot of bigotry and racism because they're all Hispanic. That was the word that they used. And people come in and will assume that they're not vegan. They're not. But he said, based on our race, people will come in and assume that we are not vegans. And I'll have you know, my family's from Honduras. And in Honduras, there's a lot of vegan food. We eat a lot of beans and rice and plantains and plants and There are a lot of vegan cuisines and dishes in Honduras, but people don't know that. They just look at us and assume that we don't practice their lifestyle. They don't.
I mean, that brings up.
It was an interesting point. Yeah, no, it's there's more facets here than I ever imagined.
Is veganism a privilege? Like in America, it seems like it. You're telling me that there's more.
It's hard to say.
There's more expensive products that have to go into running a vegan restaurant, so therefore it seems like eating vegan is more expensive, which seems conceptually kind of backwards to me. It seems like that should be the thing that's like cheaper, the stuff that just literally grows out of the ground, instead of it being like an animal you have to like feed and then like do all this work to be able to consume.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. That's crazy to me that it's turned into a thing where it's like people that are not from America, there's no way they could understand veganism, where it's like, yeah, it's probably not as expensive in other countries because there's actually still people that like farm. I don't know.
When he said that, I wanted to say, my job is to shut the fuck up and interview these people. I wanted to say, you should start serving vegan Honduran cuisine. Exactly. That's the pivot. Yeah. There isn't a Honduran restaurant in Roosevelt for a pretty long ways, and there isn't a vegan Honduran restaurant anywhere in Seattle. Like, that's your pivot, frankly.
That's the first thing I thought too when you said that. But I also wonder if that's like food writer perspective.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah,
like, that's something that I would be very interested in, but is that something that would, save them from
Is it good? I don't know.
In the way that they would want. I don't know.
Is it good food? Also, like, that's subjective to some people and not others. But that's more interesting. I think you'd at least get more people coming in the door to check it out than breakfast scrambles with optional chicken,
When you attach a specific nationality to something, I think there's going to be like a heightened curiosity, because what you're kind of saying without saying it is that you're giving somebody like an authentic experience that they wouldn't be able to have like outside of that restaurant. Like
Perhaps.
You're saying, like, this is a Honduran restaurant, so like this is what it would be like to eat in Honduras, and everybody's like, oh my god, that's cool.
I've never been to Honduras.
Yeah, now I have. I hate it.
Now I don't have to go. Yeah, right. Seattle people be like, no, I don't have to go to Honduras.
I took a trip via plantain.
Yeah.
Ooh, a thing like that. It was all very interesting, and there's more. Like, I'm having a hard time writing this story because my draft is like 3,000 words long.
I was going to say.
But then, think about this side. But then, they mention this part. The guy's really excited about his new jazz nights. He thinks that's what's going to bring the kids in, is jazz nights. And he was talking about how good this one band is, and he's a jazz head, and...
So he's just heard a chicken and he's just heard a jazz. Now he's trying to profit off both.
I think he's an old head jazz guy, but like, he thinks he's gonna pivot into being a venue. And he was talking about how there's this one area of raised seating that was intended to be a stage, and all the outlets are wired for amps. Cool. Like, do a jazz night. I'll probably check that out at least once, but like, that was his focus. Like, formerly vegan, now we're a jazz diner. That was his literal platform, because it's like a platform stage area.
Yeah. I will say that I think jazz is something that is popular and is becoming more popular in Seattle, especially among younger people. I also will say that those people that come to play jazz or witness jazz being played are also not into spending money at the establishment that they're doing so at. So you might get more traffic, but like, I don't know. I don't think that like relying on like a music venue, like making it a music venue, like that's famously like not a very high overhead either,
I mean, Agreed. In terms of spaces that are really hurting financially, music venues are kind of at the top of the list right now.
Yeah, it's like
what if they have What if they have mostly vegan food? Did you consider that, Mark? That changes everything.
Well, if they have chicken, eggs, and cheese, I think that will...
I've had jazz with chicken, eggs, and cheese before. I don't need to go.
Yeah, that Pioneer Square jazz night really does pop off. Yeah. So like, I kind of see the thought process, but to Jeff's point, are people going for a show and then kind of leaving, or are they spending money? And that's...
I don't know the answer to that. Oh, and they have drinks. They have cocktails and beer and wine too. So one thing I forgot to add when the staff member mentioned that people assume that they're not vegan, he was saying, we've dealt with bigotry and racism here, so why would we care that people are angry at us on the internet? Like, he's just like, it doesn't faze us, was his point in bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
At some point, though, like, your customers are talking to you.
Yes.
You know, like...
Right. That's not really a personal attack in the same way as, like, you know, dealing with bigotry is. Like, it's just kind of like you're making a business decision that people disagree with. You know, like,
yeah,
it's more just that we're telling you how we feel about the thing that we used to patronize.
Right.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And I mean, and we're three white people chiming in on that. So like, I don't, exactly. I don't live the experiences of vegan people or Latino restaurant workers either. So I'm just really there to find out what happens. But my mind was racing, you know, like I kept flipping it over in my mind and being like, well, now I see it this way. Now I see it this way. It's a prism of a story.
Yeah. Yeah. Tons of tentacles.
Yeah. Should we move on to another subject? Marco?
Yeah, totally. Spent a lot of time on that one.
I know. Well, it's fascinating.
But I mean, there's a lot to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think a much simpler story is that Tacos Cometa is opening up their so-called brick and mortar. I would love us to come up with a term other than brick and mortar.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, because I hate
mud
saying
hut.
It.
Yeah,
and
like what do you?
Yeah,
a physical meat space.
In lieu of a better
a lease.
Option.
That's what they came up with. A rental agreement.
Yeah. They by the time this episode drops, they will be opened in their space on Broadway, which is just around the corner where they used to post up in their sort of like tent cart.
Cal Anderson.
Yeah, right on Nagel, outside of the Rock Box.
Okay.
So, have you guys had Tacos Cometa or know what
I haven't. And all the time people are like, do you know Tacos Cometa? I'm like, yes, I know it, but I don't know it biblically. Like, I haven't tried. I know it intellectually only. Yeah.
Yeah. So for listeners, they're doing a Sinaloan style carne asada. So it is charcoal grilled. They only do carne asada, tacos, vampiros, quesadillas.
Okay,
that's
vampiros, nice.
Yeah. And I learned something kind of interesting because it sort of seemed like a pretty straightforward thing. Like they were in a cart outside in a tent on Fridays and Saturdays, and now they've moved around the corner into their own space. It seemed like just like the regular trajectory that you would expect, right? Well, it turns out that that's not what they were originally planning. They were planning to be in that tent for a lot longer. Oh. And what they wanted to do was establish that for a while, long term, and then open up kind of a fine dining restaurant that would be Sinaloan cuisine, and then with local seafood. But it turns out that they got nicked for not having a permit for their cart, and ended up working with King County Health to get into an actual space. And so that sort of put them in a different place, and so now they're just kind of like more permanently a taqueria. But I kind of think that, to me, it seems like sort of a blessing, because I don't know that to our earlier conversation about people going out and
I was literally about to say the exact same thing. It seems like fine dining wasn't the move.
Yeah. So this might have sort of saved them in a way. But yeah, by the time this episode drops, they will be open in that space.
Sweet, I want to go.
It'll be a good place to check out. It's sort of an interesting case study too, because of course their prices are higher than they were when they were on the street. Because when they were on the street, let's all remember, they didn't have to pay a lease.
They didn't have to pay a lease, yeah.
So part of that
or buy a permit, apparently.
Yeah. Right.
Fire sale prices.
Yeah.
It's all over their menu here.
And the prices still seem very affordable. I think it's $5.95 for a taco. I think it was $11.95 for a quesadilla.
Are they big?
Yeah, they are. They're giant. Okay. Especially that quesadilla. That quesadilla is like, that's the meal. Okay. You could probably do 2 tacos. One if you're not super hungry, but like wanting sustenance, you know?
Yeah.
So that, to me, it still slots into being very, very affordable. And I'll be very curious to see if they preserve the charcoal cooking, because obviously they're going to be indoors, so that's going to need like a burly hood. I don't know if I don't know for sure that they're replicating that the same way, but we'll see.
What space are they in?
It was formerly what was it called? Like Malatang.
Oh,
it was
on Broadway, across from the community college and Erickson Theater and all that. Okay.
Yeah, Blake Art Supply is over there on the corner, a little bit further down.
Yeah, I know where it is. It had a shitload of neon signs in the window. I know that place. I never went in, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Cool. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Blazing Bagels very briefly? I didn't read about this, but Blazing Bagels, which had a few locations and has been around for at least 20 years, suddenly declared bankruptcy and closed all their locations. I used to work in downtown Bellevue for years of various Microsoft contracts across the street from the transit center, and I ate a lot of Blazing Bagels. When I was growing up in Seattle, we had bagels, but they sucked, right? And so my ex and my friend and your friend Simon, who's a New Yorker, I brought him back to Seattle with me, and we both worked at that Microsoft location, and God, that man fucking hated Blazing Bagels. He hated Blazing Bagels so much, and he would get angry at me and like give me the silent treatment if I went to Blazing Bagels. And I was like, bro, do you have a better bagel in downtown Bellevue, Washington? I don't think you do. Now, of course, we have much better bagels, so I don't know if it's lazy thinking to assume that that's why they shut down. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the decline was pretty swift, all things considered. I tried to do like a little bit of research to be able to discuss this on the show. At the time we had, I found a Facebook post about the founder retiring and then passing off the company to his daughter. And what I noticed a few months ago, they shut down wholesale operations in order to focus on cafes. And that just seemed interesting to me because, I don't know what you guys have observed anecdotally, but I feel like it's always the other way around normally, right? Isn't it? Like, you see a place that has a wholesale operation and runs cafes. Usually if they shut down one, they shut down the cafes to focus on wholesale. And so, obviously I don't have access to their books or the decision making. I didn't interview them, right? So I don't know what their thought process was, but it's an interesting decision. And, I just wonder if maybe they just were ready to wind down.
That's true. Someone could be retiring. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you know Blazing Bagels?
I think that I had it one time when I was working at the dentist's office. Like, we used to have orthodontists or like pediatric dentists come in all the time and like basically bribe us with food to like refer like regular patients to them. Mm-hmm. And one time it was just like a big box full of bagels, and I remember being underwhelmed by the bagels.
You're East Coast guy, so I'm sure you would be. Yeah,
I'm an East Coast guy as well. So yeah, I agree. There are much better bagels in Seattle now. I don't think Seattle is necessarily like hurting for good bagels at this point.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I also wonder. I kind of tend to agree with you guys about how it might just be a situation where the company got passed down. I think you said to the daughter. I could imagine a situation where the daughter is just like, I don't want to run this.
Yep. I don't want to run this bagel company.
Yeah, I don't want to be a bagel baroness.
Embarrassing. These are terrible bagels. Yeah.
And it makes sense that if that were the case, then maybe she would shut down the wholesale first, because it seems maybe like less logistically complicated than like vacating all these premises and like shutting down all these mud houses or whatever you call, not brick and mortar, like cob house, something like that.
Trap houses.
No, cob house is like, it's like an ancient way
of building
mud
and straw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I took a cob house. You're into that? Okay. I took a cob building class when I lived on Whidbey.
What?
Don't get me started.
That's so sick.
Don't get me started on cob houses.
I want to do that.
You and I should have a podcast about cob houses, because I could go on and on. Anyway, that's what we'll call them, cob houses. If only they were sustainable, build your own cob houses with no lease. You can build a cob house for $5. Rental lease in Seattle is the opposite of that.
I'm cracking up at how confused people would be if we just decided to use the term cob house instead of brick and mortar.
Yeah, we're coining it.
So just like without explaining it too, like Tacos Comedia is opening up a cob house.
You know what that means, right?
What they're doing? What now?
1,000-year-old Yiddish or 1,000-year-old English Druidic architecture style. That's what we mean.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have any news for us?
Yeah, I've got some lighter news items since we're getting, I guess, less and less serious as we go on. One thing that I thought was really fun, T-Mobile Park just revealed the changes to their concessions recently. The biggest of which is that there is going to be, for the 75th anniversary of the Washington Ferry system and the 50th anniversary of the Mariners, you can get multiple kinds of fries, chicken wings, and fish and chips and stuff in like a ferry boat.
Yeah.
Like it just looks like a ferry. I'm looking at a picture here. There's like sauces on the bow and the stern of the ferry.
I saw a picture of that.
All on top. It's like whatever kind of fries you want. So I love that. And I also just love concessions at baseball games in general. I think there's something about the sport of baseball that requires you to have like things that are also entertaining right in front of you, because the sport in and of itself isn't going to hold your attention for the amount of time that it takes to play a baseball game. So yeah, I'm always interested in whatever concessions they're whipping up.
Mark, are you on the beat for that?
I am. Yeah. I will be writing about that very thing and others for Eater.
Great. I had a feeling because you were asking for connections who's doing PR for concessions. Yes. I saw a picture of that ferry boat and I wanted it. And I don't want to eat the food that's in it per se. Maybe I do. Maybe it's good. But I want that little ferry boat to put on a bookshelf or something.
It's pretty great.
That's what it's for. It's like a commemorative piece.
A commemorative grease-stained piece.
It's a grease-stained collectible.
I mean, I would imagine it's like cardboard, right? It's not like it's got to be cardboard because you can get like ice cream out of like a helmet too, and the helmet is at least like a thing that you could probably wash and at least put somewhere. But it's like this is the same thing as just getting like a Big Mac in like the little box that it comes in, but the box is just like way more complicated, like a Lego set.
Exactly.
Have you tried it, Marco?
No, the media event for it is tomorrow, so
cool.
I will be. I imagine seeing it up close and in person at that time.
It's going to be on display, I would imagine.
Yeah.
No hate to our guest next week, but now I want to interview you next week and hear how it goes. We have a lovely guest for next week. We're interviewing Aaron from Coco Legato, who I enjoy. But
fantastic!
Yeah, but I also would love to hear how the ferry boat fry box works out.
Yeah, I haven't been to Coco Legato yet, but it is like near the top of my list of places to get to ASAP.
Yeah, you want to go? I want to go to like a show there because they do live music.
Yes, yeah. I love chocolate. I love music. Because he does all kinds of music over there. I was going to say, speaking of jazz, but he does more than jazz.
Yeah. Jeff, anything else?
I do have one more news story news story. I feel like I'm such a serious news.
You are now. You're hanging out with food journalists.
Yeah, you're a
one
newsman.
of us.
Well,
you're a newsman.
My stories are just designed for us to get a couple jokes in mostly, and I think that we talked about wings last time you were on the podcast, Mark. The Houston, Texas hot chicken is opening in Belltown, and they have a challenge where if you eat 3 wings that are, very, very hot, like their hottest wings, they're called Houston We Have a Problem hot. That's the hottest kind of wing they have. If you eat 3 of them, and then if you go through a cooling period afterwards where you don't drink any liquid for 3 minutes afterwards, they will give you $1,000. The first person to do that.
Steven can do that. Steven can
I was just gonna say.
Stephen Allen's the one.
So the article that I read did mention
Stephen Allen.
Not Stephen Allen. He is a legend though. They talked about how spicy the wings are, and they talked about it in like the number of like the Scoville heat index or whatever it is. And just to kind of like give some reference, because I think we wanted to talk about this last time a little bit. A jalapeno has between 2,500 and 10,000. I think that's kind of a famously like variable pepper. Like some of them are a little bit hot. And then serranos are 10,000 to 25,000. Habaneros are 100,000 to 350,000. So many times spicier than a jalapeno. Carolina Reapers are 1.5 million to 2.5 million. So that's how much higher in spice they are based on this Scoville scale.
Is that what they use? Is that what they use at the Houston hot chicken place?
Well, I think so, because they said that whatever the chicken is on the Scoville scale is 2 million. So it has to be Carolina Reapers. The only one that's hotter than that is Pepper X, and there's a lot. I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now. There's a lot of discussions about the legitimacy of Pepper X. Like it's almost like there hasn't been like a peer-reviewed study for it. But I do want to say, this is so good. There's a short Wikipedia article, as you can imagine. It literally is just a Carolina Reaper pepper. Gosh, where does it say this? It literally says that it was a Carolina Reaper mixed with a pepper that his friend gave him. So it's just like, it's like literally not even like we don't even know what other like blend of pepper this is that bore Pepper X. But
my
it's just
friend gave it to me. No, you don't know him. Yeah, he lives in Niagara.
Sounds like
yeah, right. Your friend gave it to you. Some pepper you found on the ground. Okay.
It says Pepper X is crossbred of a Carolina Reaper and a pepper sent to Curry, the guy who made it in the first place, by a friend.
His name is Curry. He's a spicy guy.
Yeah, that is funny.
That's
Ed
very
Curry.
Funny.
Ed Curry's the guy who invented the Carolina Reaper, and he's trying to outdo himself with Pepper X.
That is extremely funny.
Wow, that sounds like the Chinese democracy of peppers somehow. He's trying to outdo himself and just like really getting in the weeds about it.
But
Jeff,
Steven should go down there and win $1,000 for sure.
I kind of think his health would be impacted. Although he'd have $1,000, he'd go to the doctor afterward.
The guy goes on to say of Pepper X, he says Curry. This is the guy who gave birth to it through this, hybridization with the unknown pepper. He was feeling the heat for 3.5 hours and then experienced cramps that had him laid out flat on a marble wall for approximately an hour in the rain, groaning in pain.
That is poetry. Wow. That's heavy. I don't want those things for my partner. I think he's
does beg the question why.
He's both extremely spicy and very sensitive to discomfort. So I'm not gonna tell him.
Yeah.
Don't tell him.
I'm not going to tell him. Don't ask, don't tell. Jeff, you have 5 minutes. I think we should talk about what we ate, and then you can peel off to your voice lesson, and then Mark and I can talk about what we ate once you're gone. Perfect. And you'll have to find out later when you listen to the recording.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure I'll listen to it. I guess I have to listen to it because I edited it.
I hope you're going to listen to it.
Oh, of course I'll listen to it. And it's like, yeah, I'm the one who has to listen to it.
Although, Mark, you said once you didn't ever listen to the first podcast that we were on because you couldn't stand to listen to it. So he may not listen to it. It's been done.
There is an AI option. I can literally just be like, hey, AI, edit this episode.
Oh, my God.
I refuse to do that for personal reasons, but that would be an option.
If you don't want to know what we ate, that's an option,
Yeah. So I went to the Wayland Mill with Dusty yesterday for...
Yeah.
I also went there.
Yesterday?
You talked about it. No, 2 days ago. You talked about it.
I talked about it last time I was on, right?
I think so.
Maybe you
did. We're all big fans.
Yeah, so, we're a big, Saint Bread family. Tivoli's right down the street. So, really happy with those restaurants. I had not been to Wayland Mill before, and it was I don't know what I expected, but it was exactly what I wanted it to be. I just got the Japanese American breakfast, and you get the perfectly square egg that seems almost kind of like a custard egg blend in some way, with the toast that's the Saint Bread toast with butter and jam, and then you get a marinated slab of Canadian bacon, and it was just those 3 things on the plate. and it was just so good. Like I just kept being like, ooh, I want a little bit of this with a little bit of that, just like trying to get like the perfect bite every time. Like
Yeah.
super enjoyable to eat. The textures were like unbelievable. They got it down there for sure. They were busy. They had a whole wait list going. They were getting people in, getting people out. I loved it. I thought it just seems like a really well-run restaurant with great food.
Meg, what was your experience like there?
I was trying to do stuff on the beat on the Ave, and I ran over there. I realized they were about to close and ran over there and snagged the last 2 pastries, knowing that I assumed they wouldn't have any pastries left, but they had one of those hojicha canapés and the peanut butter shoyu icebox pie, and I grabbed them both. So that was my lunch that day. I did
also have a like a yuzu cake with a what was it called? Like an almond brittle on top. An almond brittle on top of the yuzu cake. I think there was like marzipan in there as well.
Amazing.
It reminded me of something they would do on a Great British Baking Show, so I had to get that one.
They won some award, I think, from Eater for best all-day cafe, and I like that distinction. It can be multiple things throughout the day. Is that the only thing you ate?
Yeah, that was the one that I was going to talk about. Okay. Just because I was so happy with that meal and just the experience in general. Like just talking about places being like wieldy and being able to like adapt to circumstances. Like the all-day cafe with like all the things they can do there. They have like a bar, they have an espresso machine, they have sit-down service, they can just do counter service. Like,
did you say it's wieldy? I like that.
Yeah, it's wieldy.
It's unwieldy.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say wieldy. I'm going to say that all day.
I got to say, and this is also a callback to when Mark was on last time, I feel like that's a football term.
Oh, is it?
I feel like you would call like a defensive player who can like do a lot from different spots on the field as like he'd be like a wieldy player or something. So I don't think I hope I didn't just make that up because then it would sound dumb.
I hope you did because I like it.
Nick Eman Wieldy.
I don't know what that means. Jeff, do you need to run out the door?
Yeah, I guess this would be a good time for me to say goodbye. You guys can talk about what you ate, and I'm really happy that we got together for the time we did.
This is fun. Yeah. Good party. I feel like us 3 have a couple places to go now. I don't remember what they are, but we should go to them.
Yeah, yes. I would love to get together with y'all in person.
Yeah,
we got to do that sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Have fun singing.
I will. Thank you.
Peace. Marco, what'd you eat?
I went to the Sandwich Saga, which I've been to before when they pop up at Fair Isle Brewing on Sundays and Mondays. But this past week, they were posted up in Black Cat.
Oh, great.
Because Cryptid Kitchen, which had previously had the residency there, moved out. And so there was vacancy. And
what was Cryptid Kitchen?
Cryptid Kitchen was doing like burgers and fries and mac and cheese. It's kind of like greasy spoon food.
Doesn't matter now. R.I.P.
Yeah. R.I.P. Cryptid Kitchen.
Unless they're moving into a cob house.
I don't know that they have plans for a cob house.
A cob house. It's catching on. Cob house and foxtail. We've got our own language here. Yeah. Okay. So they were at Black Cat.
Yeah, they were at Black Cat, and Alex, who runs it, he's kind of got like the fine dining credentials and is very exacting with his approach to sandwiches. So what I've had in the past from him was an Italian beef, which was killer. Back when I had it, he's since changed it, and I didn't know this, so I would have tried it this past time if I had known he's made changes to it. I just thought that I can check that box, so I'm going to go with something else. So what I ended up having was the lamb sandwich, and that was bonkers good. It was a pulled lamb, some marinated cucumbers diced up, and then some zhouk for some like peppery.
Oh, that's that like Syrian hot sauce.
Yeah.
The green hot sauce. Yeah.
Yeah. So just real great, and of course the mint was in the mix. A little bit of lemon as well, I believe. Really fantastic mix of flavors and just like super bold. And that's kind of his approach. We also got I ended up going with Wendy, who you'll know as Auntie Wen from Instagram, and Absolutely. Then Jay. Yeah. So But we also tried the chicken sandwich, which was fried chicken and then like this piri piri sauce. Bonkers amazing. And I don't really get excited about a fried chicken sandwich these days.
No, weird. It's our enemy, our mutual enemy.
Yeah. This would be an exception for me. Like I would order that fried chicken sandwich. In fact, I kind of like want to next time I encounter Sandwich Saga if he's still doing it that way. He changes his menu up quite a bit.
Where does he normally pop up?
He's normally at Fair Isle Brewing on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay.
So like basically on La Maria's days off.
That's a good prompt for me to go out there because my cousin, Jason, who's the former brewer at Outlander, now just spends his Sundays with his girlfriend at Fair Isle, and I never see him anymore because he doesn't work at Outlander anymore. So, like, that's a good prompt to go out there and be like, oh, hey, what's up, Jason? Throw it down with my master cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds great. The lamb sounds great. I want a lamb sandwich.
Yeah, always, right?
Yeah.
He also did this incredible broccoli melt that he runs sometimes. It's just like really, really deeply cooked broccoli. So it's got like the nice char to it. It starts to get that sort of caramelized way to it. And then he serves that with, I can't remember how to pronounce the word, but it's basically often referred to as a Mexican truffle. It's really.
Spell it. Can you spell it? Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like HUI, like Huitlacoche or something like that. I'm not saying it, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and mixed with some chili paste for some spice. So it's like this real savory, deep, earthy spiciness along with it, and then aged cheese. So it's like it's got like this really big flavor. It's kind of like everything he does there has got a lot of boldness. I love what he's doing. So
you're selling it. I want it. I love a sandwich. Are they saucy? I love a saucy sando.
Yeah, it wasn't like super sloppy double dare or anything like that, but
that's the name of the episode. You have to be of a certain age to get that. Millennial humor.
It's definitely well seasoned, well sauced.
Okay.
Everything's cool. Part of the whole.
Great. This feels kind of intimate without any guests. You and I, like, it just feels like we're just shooting the shit. We're just on the phone. Is this a podcast? Right. Are we taping right now?
Are we even?
Are we even alive right now? Did you eat anything else?
I also went to La Maria this week at Fair Isle.
Right. Same place.
Yeah. They were doing a really fascinating special, which was fish birria. So the idea behind it was, like, can we take some fish and season it and marinate it and have it hit with the richness of birria? And then so we made some consomme as well with some fish stock and some other stuff. And damn if that didn't hit. Like, that was a fish quesabirria taco that hit like a quesabirria taco.
With cheese. You couldn't have told me that. You couldn't have handed me a menu with that description and have me been excited. Now, many times, as you also know, like, you read something on a menu and you're like, I don't fucking get that. And then you eat it and it's incredible. And La Maria specifically, I've read things on their menu being like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. And then you eat it and it blows your mind to pieces. So it stands.
Yeah. So I feel a little bad about mentioning it, though, because, like, they're almost certainly not going to do it again.
Oh.
I was talking to them afterwards and like, this is pretty time consuming and expensive to make. So it's probably not going to pencil out as like a thing we do going forward. But like, it was an experiment. And the deliciousness part of the experiment was a rousing success. The business part of this experiment, it sounded like quite wasn't.
That's fine. I think it's okay to mention something that people can't get because it just it attests to their genius and creativity and success and coming up with a concept and executing it well. So they'll come up with some other brilliant thing that's amazing.
It's almost certain. Yep.
That ahi tostada still looms very large. It was on my best things I ate last year. Story, my list, my roster, and I think about how it gleamed like it was delicious as well. But I remember like the visual of it. It was like a gem. It was like a plate of rubies or something.
Yeah,
they do such a great inspired job. with slightly weird things that turn out to be spectacular. So. I ate at so many places very briefly. I ate at Wayland Mill, which I talked about already. I had that peanut butter show you icebox pie with the choco sesame crust, which gave it some heft. The filling was really light. It had little peanut brittle shards on top and little blats of whipped cream. It was great. I ate it while walking down the Burt Gilman. Trying to dodge bikes. Yeah, because they closed. They're like, here you go, get the fuck out.
Right.
And I was like, I will get the fuck out with my 2 pastries for lunch. So I ate it in motion while dodging bicyclists on the Burt Gilman. It was delicious. I ate, which list do I have? I have so many lists. Jeff is going to hate me for making paper noise. On Saturday, Steven and I were like, oh, we had a long week. Should we leave the house? Neither of us has left the house in a minute. All we did all week was watch Mad Men at his place, which, by the way, you said a thing like that earlier, which I've known you to say over and over in our friendship, and then I noticed that they say it on Mad Men, and every time I see that, I think of you. A thing like that. Sort of an all-purpose, like, it's almost like bless your heart. If you don't know what to say. Yeah. A thing like that.
I like it. It's a very multi-purpose phrase. You know,
yeah.
You can say it out of, like, being genuinely impressed.
Right.
And
it can be
you
sincere.
Can say it, yeah. You can say it in times where you don't really know what to say, but you know someone's expecting a reaction, and
a thing like that.
Yeah,
a thing like that. How terrible a thing like that. How amazing a thing like that. Yeah. I associate it heavily with you every time they say it on Mad Men. Anyway, we decided to not watch Mad Men on Saturday, and instead we went to Cocina Mexicana. We were looking for bars in Steven's area and couldn't find anything we hadn't tried a million times. That's the one thing about Tacoma. Like, not a lot of fresh bars pop up. So we went to Cocina Mexicana not really knowing what we would find, but I saw in the photos that they had a bar, and indeed they did, and it was karaoke. Spanish language karaoke. Steven speaks Spanish pretty handily, and I think he might have sung. You've heard Steven sing in Spanish.
Yeah.
And he does a good job, but the singers there were just all ringers. It was wall-to-wall ringers. They were killing it. And I think we just opted to just stay seated with our giant plate of shrimp ceviche. We got chori queso in a big, like, tureen, like an oval tureen. And I thought of you then as well, because Mark loves queso. It was great with the little bits of chorizo in it and freshly made chips. And we just watched these singers fucking murder it. And it was sort of fun because when listening to, like, Mexican pop songs, it's like I don't know what they're singing about. And so they all kind of sound the same, which I'm sure would be true if you didn't really speak English and you listen to American pop music. You'd be like, how are these songs different? But when you're at karaoke, the lyrics are on the screen. So I was like, oh, this is a song about the state of Jalisco and how they like living in Jalisco. You know, like, this is a song about the mountains. We were able, and it was really enjoyable to have a translation of all these beautiful songs. But God, the singers were killer. And the ceviche and the chori queso were killer too. Nice. Quickly, I stopped at Cafe Allegro, which is just the unfuckwithable classic Seattle coffee house. I kind of want to tell Jeff about it. I don't know if Jeff knows about Cafe Allegro.
Oh, wow.
He's only lived here, 6 years, 8 years, something like that?
Yeah.
I got a t-shirt with the window with the painting of the coffee thing on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I had a cinnamon roll. It was great. Spent an afternoon there. I went to Cafe Munir, which, as you know, Stephen's son works there. For my last word column in The Stranger, I have a cocktail column, if anyone doesn't know, and they had a cocktail called the Lion's Blood that I loved, that had Arak, Lebanese red wine, orange blossom water, rose water, and pomegranate molasses. It comes in a little, like, 4-ounce sherry glass. It's like a mini cocktail. It's like $10 or $11, and it was delicious. And, you know, as you know, Arak is really, really powerful, really sharp. But then it had the sweetness from the pomegranate molasses and the red wine, and it was just beautiful and aromatic and had, like, a floral breeze on the top of it from the orange water and the rose water. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I got a plate of bisara, which is the ground lentils with, like, shitloads of roasted garlic and olive oil, and scooped it up with the fresh bread. And God, I love Cafe Munir. So
yeah, it's been a minute since I've been there. I got to get back over there.
Every time I go, there's no mistakes on the menu. It's all just glorious. I was there solo, and I've never gone there solo, but, like, you know,
dang.
Steven's son is he's a chef there now. So he was coming out and bringing me little bits, and I got to talk to Raj, the owner, and everybody was so lovely. And they also had a fig cordial, and I was talking to the owner, Raj, and he was like, yeah, there's a Lebanese guy who lives in Lake City who calls himself the Fig King, and he has a backyard that's just terraced with different kinds of fig trees from Lebanon. And he'll go on Craigslist once a year or twice a year and be like, buy my figs. I'm the Fig King. And he's like, so I bought all these figs from the Fig King and I just soaked them in a rock for 1 year. And
oh my God.
That's the cordial. That's the cordial they had, the house cordial #1.
Love everything about this.
Delicious and fascinating.
I want that cordial.
Yeah.
I want to meet the Fig King.
Yeah, I want to know more about the Fig King. Yeah. Yes. He needs a feature written about him for sure.
Seriously.
And then lastly, I went somewhere else that I wrote down. Oh, I went to Rain City Burgers while I was killing time.
Oh.
Getting ready to go to Wayward to interview the folks at Wayward. So I ate the opposite of vegan cuisine at Rain City Burgers. And the folks recommended the masala chicken burger. It's not a burger. It's a chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's grilled chicken. They gave you 2 slabs, and it has masala, Indian seasoning. Lots of crunchy veggies. Just lots of tall, very what do they call it with an oyster? Deeply fluted lettuce. Very crisp lettuce and onions and tomato. And some kind of seasoned mayo. So it was like a tall sandwich on a burger bun. And I loved it. It was just very heavily, fragrantly spiced with masala, curry mix. What we would call curry. Beautiful. I think it was $10. Big burger. Or it's not a burger. It's a chicken sandwich. It's a grilled chicken sandwich, but very flavorful. And I think it was $11 maybe. Didn't come with fries, but a lot of food for $11. I hadn't been to Rain City Burgers in that incarnation. And one of the first food reviews I ever wrote was whatever it used to be, Primo Burgers or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Do you know where I'm talking about at 65th?
Yeah, I think it was Primo Burgers. Yeah.
One of the first food reviews I wrote, either for Seattle Weekly or The Stranger in the early 2000s, was for that place. And they had it in the window for years. And I was 22, I'd go by and be like, I wrote that. But I hadn't been to the Rain City version, which has been there a long time. And I really, really enjoyed that chicken masala burger. So I think that's it. Is that everything I ate? Oh, and then I went to Bloom Thai in Lakewood, and I found that it helps if you know the chef, but if you go toward the end of the night, she closes at 8, Chef Blue tends to just cook everything that she would have thrown away anyway. So she just starts bringing dishes out, and doesn't charge you for them because they would have gone in the garbage anyway. So we ended up with 8 plates, 8 entrees, and just lived on them for... Steven and I split them up. We're like, okay, he wanted the tom yum with the egg, the fried omelet inside the tom yum soup, and I wanted the pork belly fried rice. And so we were it was like a draft pick. You pick one, now it's my turn to pick one to take home. I ended up with the Bangkok garlic chicken, and we just lived on it for a few days. I don't know if she'll do that for everyone, but I strongly recommend Bloom Thai in Lakewood toward the end of the evening. Just see what happens. That's it.
Close enough.
What's that?
Close enough to the end where you're not cramping their closing style, but...
Don't go in and demand anything, but you might get a nice surprise because she doesn't want to waste food. Do you have anything else you want to chat about, Mark?
Oh boy, I was thinking about this. I don't know if we want to talk about this or not because
it's kind of if we don't want to.
It makes me fiery, but I was thinking about how tough things have been for local restaurants lately, and how slow places have been, and I was witnessing on social media just several different posts from really great local restaurants kind of being like, hey, to be honest, we're pretty slow, and, so come in, kind of sort of, being really transparent about this is hard. And I went to the U District and I see this giant line for Raising Cane.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that, because that shit pissed me off too.
It just kind of it is such an extreme example of, I don't really understand our weird fascination with chains, but this to me goes even beyond that because it's just chicken strips.
Yeah.
It's just chicken strips. So there's no, some people are like, well, don't knock it if you haven't tried it. I'm like, I've been to a cafeteria before.
As A.B. Beaubier from Darkroom likes to say, oh, no, thank you, I've had food before. Like, it's just food, you know? It's just,
exactly.
We just call it food.
So it really troubles me. I wish we could, as a city, move beyond this sort of like, oh, there's a line for a place. It's a corporate chain.
Better
I'm going
get
to
in
join
it.
the line.
Yeah.
And like, and just I'm like seeing a bunch of places covering it. Like, oh, it's finally open. It's sort of like, look, if you got kids and they love chicken strips, I mean, for sure, like fair. If you're a college student, you know, in the U District, fine. You know what I mean?
But like, I get it, yeah.
Anyone else who really has a lot more choices with where to go, please go to our local restaurant. You know?
I theorize that it's transplants who are nostalgic for home food. It's like if you lived in Atlanta and a Dick's Drive-In opened up, you would be excited. I'm not defending Raising Cane's. I don't want to eat it, and I'm angry that they're there personally. But I'm trying to imagine being people who are in line, a gigantic line, as you say, and willing to tolerate that line. And it's like you must have some sort of nostalgia-driven emotions about this very normal chicken. Ton Vin from Seattle Times was on KUOW talking about it, and he's like, I really don't understand. Like, I've eaten it, and it's just salty chicken. Yeah. Like, that's the only seasoning is salt. I really don't understand. If you are into fried chicken, we have much better fried chicken locally. Yeah, I struggle to get it.
It's a real, like, I know there's always, like, the let people enjoy things crowd, right? I think this is exempt from that, because it's just such a nothingness. And I mean, the reason that I get really opinionated about it is because I care about my neighbors being able to make a living doing the thing they're great at.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the corporate office.
No.
Making their Q3 target or whatever. And like that's all that Raising Cane's is just some corporate expansion with the most cynical, lowest common denominator food I can possibly imagine.
Have you eaten it? I've never eaten it.
No, and I won't.
I don't care, but
it's below the threshold of curiosity. You know what I mean? Like it's below the threshold of consideron.
It kind of doesn't matter, because it's not like it's an item that we don't have locally much better.
Yeah. I mean, I found myself for a moment, like when I get fired up about like a corny chain opening up and people lining up down the block, the first place my mind goes is, okay, let me compile a list of local restaurants doing this thing better, right? Yeah. And so my brain went there first, but then I was like, but it's chicken strips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just it.
I have a lot to say on this too. I mean, let's just keep going. It's like you and I should have a podcast. We should start a podcast, you and me. Because we both come from the same angle, although it's just us agreeing with each other most of the time. Yeah, and another thing. But yeah, so I went by it. First of all, it's in that cool historic building that was designed by architect Paul Thierry, who designed most of the Seattle Center and the arches and all that. I wrote a story about that building. I know it as a Pier 1 when I was a little kid, but it has 2 floors, and I bet they took that second floor out, unless the upstairs is seating. I can't find that out because there's a mile-long line, and I'm never going to wait in it. But
yeah,
do you happen to know?
You can see through the windows. Like if you're across the street, it's got like that big wall of windows.
Okay.
So you can see that the second floor is seating.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's intact, but I mean, it's.
I'm glad to hear that.
The aesthetic is just very 2010s fast casual, right? Like it's kind of like got this really vague urban street culture aesthetic. You know what I mean? It kind of reminds you of like a Chipotle that's trying to be cool.
Right. Fittingly, that was an American Apparel for years too. So it's like the American Apparel of fast food, right?
It so much is.
Yeah, in keeping with the trend historically for that building. But moreover, as you say, like, it's true that we shouldn't be yucking other people's yums or whatever, but it's at the cost of local businesses. Like,
yeah. I mean, there's no yum here to yuck, essentially.
It's like the yum of people with bad taste, right? It's the yum of broke college students, and I understand that. And you were a young broke college student at that very university.
Yeah.
But you were eating better. You weren't eating that.
if you're a young broke college student, fair fucks, right? If you're a kid, fair fucks. If you're a parent who's trying to feed their kids and they only eat chicken strips, fair fucks.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking specifically to people who go to restaurants.
It also is fostering that sort of chicken nuggies based diet that more and more young people are really just dedicated to.
Yeah.
And again, like, as a tism, I get it if you have texture and flavor preferences when you're a young adult and then you grow out of them. I certainly did, but it's a bummer. I think you can probably even get better fried chicken on the Ave at like Chimak or some Korean fried chicken place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Chimak is gone now, but.
Is it?
But.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's other Korean fried chicken on that street, for damn sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can do better, young students.
Absolutely do better.
You absolutely must eat chicken nuggies. You can do better than Raising Cane's. I think that's it. I just wanted to mention quickly, and I can talk about it next week too. I'm headed to the Northwest Cider Symposium tomorrow, and they're kicking off like a pre-funk drinks at Seven Seas Brewery here in Tacoma, and then dinner at Field Bar.
Nice.
I was supposed to go on that Vashon cidery trip today, and I'm sort of regretting not going, but like, we got to get the podcast done. It was a whole day trip, but like, it makes me want to go to Vashon and tour all of the cideries there, because Vashon's beautiful and long. It's a long pig. It's a real long pig of an island with, I think, 4 or 5 different cideries, including Dragon Head, which I'd really like to go to. So that'd be a fun field trip sometimes.
For sure.
Are you a person who can come down to Tacoma and eat all of these beautiful things with me sometimes for half price?
Yeah.
You have transpo?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that that public transit to Tacoma has been better lately.
Yeah. It's just the late night thing.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a curfew, because I think the last bus is at 10:30. It's 11:30 from downtown Seattle. It's like 10 something going on.
Yeah. I mean, if the bus schedule works out, I'm definitely willing to do it.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to get down there, actually. It's just the thing that has been more prohibitive than anything else is just work schedule, just having like a lot of deadlines. And it's really funny because last time I was on, we were talking about the sort of grimness of the media landscape. And like the very next day, I just got like a ton of assignments.
Great.
Which was nice.
Pros and cons, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not a ton, but like a good handful, like well more than I expected anyway.
There are lots of new restaurants down here. There's a new Venezuelan hot dog place on 6th, kind of over by Field Bar. Funnily, it's on the block up from the Red Hot, which is an all hot dog restaurant and bar.
Oh, yeah.
But they're doing Venezuelan style stuff and arepas and some other interesting things. So I'm stoked about that, trying to take a trip out there soon. So
cool. Yeah. I think there was a new Peruvian place too. I can't remember the name of it, but I came across it on, something. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's the next Portland, I swear to God. There are food pods down here, and I have a story in me about that, like food truck pods, Portland style, because the permitting in Pierce County is different. Yeah. For cob houses, for brick and mortars, there's that grease trap requirement that costs a lot of places $10,000 to $20,000, which is hard, but people are responding by doing food truck pods in old parking lots and things like that, and it's pretty exciting. So
cool.
It's popping. I think we can call it, yeah?
Yeah, totally.
I'm always thrilled to have you on. Like, I looked forward to it all week, because I knew it would just be like an easy patter sort of situation. Yeah. I feel like we could go on for another hour. So
I know, it's true.
I'm just going to book you for 1 month from today. How about that?
Sounds good.
And for our listeners, I am stupid, as it turns out, and I managed to delete the Holly Robinson episode that we taped last week. No, the week before, 2 weeks ago. I was trying to upload it. I was trying to export it locally, and I deleted it. So Jeff has to edit it again from scratch. I'm paying him to do it. And that'll be next week after this episode, or it's the week before. We'll see. We'll see which episode gets edited first, but it may be out of order, and that's my explanation. It's because it's my first day on Earth. That's why.
That's so stressful.
Yeah, it is 100% my fault. That's what I get for trying to mess with Riverside editing. So, Next week, after this episode, we have Aaron Lindstrom from Coco Legato, and you and I should go to that spot as well.
Absolutely.
And go to a show. And eat chocolate, and bring our mutual friend Bess Lovejoy, who loves chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring everybody. Let's all go.
Let's all go.
A thing like that. All right, Marco, have a good work day. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.